Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plug and Play Health Expo. This is the last industry that's going to be going as part of our 4-day summit. It's an incredibly exciting event, and we are incredibly excited to show you everything that's been happening, as well as the amazing companies that we have had. So thank you, everybody. To go through today's agenda, we're going to first be going through some opening remarks about what today is going to entail for everybody and what's been happening at Plug and Play during this time when innovation is so vital to healthcare and across the globe. Then, and what we are incredibly excited for, we're going to be having our panel fireside chat with Pfizer and Sidekick Health. Pfizer is one of our partners in Sidekick Health, our badge company that presented just at the last expo last year. Now they have a multi-million-dollar partnership, and we're going to be going through how to successfully pilot both for a startup as well as for an incredibly large organization and how to be innovative. After that, we are going to be having the Silicon Valley Batch 11 companies present, all 15 of them. And then we are going to be having 3 companies from our international offices be joining us so that you can see them as well. After that, we're going to be giving the Corporate Innovation Award to one of our corporate partners, as well as the Startup People's Choice Award. To close things up, we're going to be having closing remarks, as well as the next upcoming events that Plug and Play Health is going to be having. And then after that, from 4:35 ET, 1:35 PT, we will be doing networking with all of the incredible attendees, as well as the startups here. And for anybody who wants to, this is the Plug and Play Health team. You can connect with us, chat us, look at us at LinkedIn, tweet at us. You can see our Twitter and our LinkedIn at the bottom there. A special thank you to our Silicon Valley corporate partners. You can see the list of them right there, and we've been so honored and humbled to be able to work with so many important partners, not just for the health of everybody, but specifically during this time across the value chain for what's important during this pandemic. So a special thank you to all of the partners. Here we can see the global health corporate partners that we have. We now have 35 partners categorized into these 3 main buckets. Hospital systems, where we've continued to grow internationally. Pharmaceuticals, where we have most of the major pharmaceutical companies in the world, all partners of Plug and Play Health, as well as industry and government. We're still working with Drive, doing important work there, and you'll see some new logos there from our international offices, including Medtronic and Microsoft. And very exciting news as we're going to that next screen, thank you, is we have launched a new location in partnership with Roche and Sanofi in Singapore. This is going to be Plug and Play's 6th office, and we're just now wrapping up our first batch 0. It's a very exciting time to be able to get that international lens. So when we end up going to the next slide and seeing the full view, but before we get to that, we're going to be announcing that we have a new corporate partner that we're incredibly excited to have. Grifols has joined the Silicon Valley team here with us, and they've been an incredible partner so far. They're a fantastic company, and we are so excited to be working with them in order to help them innovate throughout their entire corporation. And so now that we're able to see everything that Plug and Play is doing, we have these 36 global offices covering 18 different industries, and 6 of them are specific to healthcare. We're sourcing them there, we're running accelerator programs from there, we're investing in there, we have corporate partners in all of them. And we have these 6 offices are in Silicon Valley, Cleveland, Munich, Shanghai, Kyoto, and now a Singapore office has been elevated from sourcing from there and having some corporate partners to now having a full-blown office, which allows everybody, all of our partners in our ecosystem, to have increased visibility into that region. From a health perspective, we are still sourcing from 3 other global locations: Sao Paulo, Abu Dhabi, and Bangkok. The focus areas for us globally, it's quite interesting to look at based off of when you're in Silicon Valley versus Cleveland and Munich. And it's very based off of what subsection of healthcare are you in. In Silicon Valley, we work primarily with pharmaceutical companies, which makes medication management, telemedicine, chronic disease management, and diagnostics and drug development so important. In Cleveland, where we work mostly with hospital partners, you'll see the interest areas are different. We're talking about the pre-arrival experience, tracing and sanitation, COVID-19 testing, operations and logistics, uh, integrative medicine. And then in Munich, where we have a mix of all of these, but also some non-healthcare companies getting into healthcare, you see a mix. And that's including personalized medicine, digitalization, point of care diagnostics, pretty much anything point of care as it relates to improving patient outcomes, as well as sleep and nutrition. So it's really interesting based off of these different geographies, as well as subsections of healthcare, to be able to see how those focus areas and tech interest areas differ. For the next slide, what we're going to see is plug and place health portfolio. In the 10 and a half months, we have now made 13 new investments. That's over an investment per month, continuing to be the most active digital healthcare investor in the world, now bringing us up to 75 total investments. And you can see our new investments here at the top. The big trend, and I don't think this is a surprise to anybody, is digital healthcare is now more important and valuable than ever. And so we've seen portfolios valuation increases, the amount of money that corporations are raising dramatically increased. We're going to get a firsthand account of that with Sidekick Health, as well as the amount of dollars overall going into the industry. So you can see a snapshot of our portfolio here, and we're continuing to invest in healthcare technologies that will improve patient outcomes throughout their patient journey. We've also had the opportunity to be hosting virtual webinars and events featuring 17 of our startups that have really made an impact during this time. And there's been 4 of them that we wanted to highlight here for you. We had one, which is a collaboration with Heal, Giant, and Intermountain Healthcare about partnerships transforming healthcare. And then we also had one, remote patient monitoring and care coordination. We had that one with the former chief data officer of United Healthcare for What, as well as our principal, Alex Tran, really looking into new models of care coordination and bridging the gap between monitoring patients as well as providing them care. We also held one on early detection of diseases and preventative care. It's so important to be able to diagnose diseases as early as possible and be able to get them the care as early as possible to make sure that they have the best outcomes. And then the fourth one ended up being, unfortunately, timely for what had happened in the industry, data security and healthcare. We looked at what are the best practices in this time for healthcare organizations in order to make sure that patient records and patient data is more safe than ever before. And we've been able to have fantastic companies, startups, ideas, and more attendees because of this virtual environment. So we've had the pleasure of being able to host these events that have been valuable throughout the globe. Today here we are going to be able to hear from the Silicon Valley Batch 11. And you can see the 5 main topics here: chronic disease, digital therapeutics, telemedicine, medication management, AI analytics, data management, diagnostics and drug development, and then clinical or clinician decision support. The big thing here is this is our strongest batch of companies that we've ever had in terms of later stage, in terms of valuation, in terms of their impact that they're able to have. These companies are really incredible in terms of what they're able to do, both for investment opportunities as well as partnership and pilot opportunities. And The Batch 11 program, by the numbers, you can see these impressive numbers here. For anybody who's interested in becoming a mentor, we have over 50 mentors that participated in this Batch 11. Just really incredible, very high level people in the healthcare industry with over 30 mentorship sessions in the last 3 months. And we had 13 deal flows. Those deal flows are opportunities where our corporate partners are able to get a private view of the future of healthcare, where they should be looking at, and how they can then be leaders in healthcare innovating. That's 13 events where our corporate partners have really been able to see what the future looks like for healthcare and be able to get after. We've also made over 120 startup introductions that have been asked for by corporate partners, each one of these having the opportunity to lead to a multi-million-dollar engagement. And we've had 24 plus virtual events. So many events, so many opportunities to get involved, to get funding, to get pilots, to learn an incredible amount of things that we're doing for the entire ecosystem. And this is our team, Netta, Amidi, Alba, Astrid, and myself, as well as Alex and Julianne in Silicon Valley. And then for Cleveland, we have Jennifer and Nathan. And then we also have Connie, our Director of Enterprise Tech, as well as Jackie and Carolina. We've been so happy to be able to serve all of you and provide all of you the best that we can in anything that Plug and Play is doing. So to the entire team, a huge congratulations on an incredibly impressive Batch 11. And all of us are very excited to start going on Batch 12. And if you want to get in touch, whether you want to become a corporate partner, you're a startup who wants to get involved in Batch 12 or beyond, you want to become a mentor, there's many different ways for you to be able to get involved with Plug and Play. And so you can get in touch with me. My email is right there, z.pohl@pnptc.com. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. And with that, we're going to go right into our health fireside chat. I'm really looking forward to this. And as you can see, Jurgen and Otley and Robert come online here with their video. One thing that was so striking about this is when we were doing our introductions or our prep for this, I was joking with our team, I'm not going to have any role here. I just said, do you guys want to chat about innovation? And they pretty much just talked for 30 minutes. There's so much fantastic content to go through. And all three of them really know what they're doing. They really understand the space, and they've been very successful in the space. And so what we're going to be doing over the next 30 minutes is go through, first we're going to get a word on the vaccine, since I think that's the elephant in the room. And then we're going to be having three main sections broken into how to have a successful pilot opportunity. Beginning the partnership, what does it take to be, how do you have a successful beginning? What is that drive to make it? How do you set yourself up for success? Then the second section, during the pilot, how do you track success? How do you make sure that you're being successful? And then that third section, post-pilot, how can you make sure that it doesn't stop with the pilot, that you're able to expand from the pilot to really have the best impact possible? And I couldn't think of a better view than the people that we're going to get than right now, the team from Pfizer, as well as Atlee from Sidekick Health. And so with that, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to go from left to right on my screen. Jürgen, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah, hello, and my name is Jürgen. Thanks for having me, and I'm really excited to be part of this session. I watched in some sessions. I'm really learned a lot already, and I'm more than happy, I think, to learn and connect with so many innovative guys, and hopefully we will continue with the collaboration. So I think what is really important, we at Pfizer really believe in partnerships with innovative thought leaders that will help us really to achieve one of our 5 key goals that we have in Pfizer, which is to win the digital race in pharma. And our partnership with Sidekick is really a perfect fit for that. especially when it comes to one of the key areas that says we would like really to enhance health outcomes and patient experience, and this is exactly what we are trying to achieve in our partnership with Sidekick.
Amazing. Thank you, Jürgen. Those are fantastic words. With that, let's go over to Robert.
Yeah, hi everyone. Rob Day. I look after inflammation and immunology within Pfizer across Western Europe, which is a group of 15 countries in Europe. And I think we're, probably unique in that space in that we have, a setup which, of course, includes sales, marketing, account management, as you normally find, but you also have a group, a patient solutions team here who are kind of passionate about improving outcomes for patients. And I think, we'll come on to talk a little bit about that later on.
Yes, we will. Thank you. And Otley, please.
Yeah, hey, nice to be back. We were presenting at the last summit exactly about a year ago. So it's wonderful to be back in this capacity. My name is Atli Knútsson. I'm Chief Operating Officer at Sidekick. It's kind of interesting to be here talking about this, and Sidekick for me puts a lot of things in perspective. My background is in medical devices, in fintech, consumer applications, and in consulting. So a lot of these things, they've come together for me at Sidekick. Yeah, it's fantastic to be back, and what a great opportunity both to contribute back to the community at Plug and Play, and to talk a little bit about kind of, the journey that we're on with Pfizer. Happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. What a fantastic story it has been. Me and Oliver and myself gave you the Innovation Award in person at our last expo. For those who don't know, Sidekick Health won the Innovation Award from presenting during our batch 9 last year. And since then, I don't think you can be more successful. They've obviously had this incredible partnership with Pfizer that's going fantastic, as well as raised a $20.8 million Series A round. So very excited to see who's going to win the Innovation Award this year and where they will go with that. With that, Rob, I believe you wanted to say a couple words on the vaccine.
Well, yeah, it's impossible actually to talk to anybody in Pfizer without at least spending a couple of minutes on the vaccine at the moment, and that's true with almost everybody I speak to as well. So I'm not I'm not a vaccines expert at all, so I can't give you lots of detail about the science and progress that's not already been published, and there's been a lot that's been published, of course. But when Albert Bourla, our boss, the CEO, talks about this, it's all about mission. Ours is to bring breakthroughs that change patients' lives. It's something that we're all guided by, and so in February when we saw the virus spiraling out of control through Asia and Europe and the rest of the world. I know kind of Albert's view was that we've got this scale, within Pfizer, we've got this huge experience in vaccine development. We've got new technology. We're partnering on in mRNA vaccine development, and we've got this manufacturing capacity and experience as well, which is kind of second to none probably in the pharmaceutical industry. So if it wasn't going to be us who's going to develop a solution to this problem before the next wave really kicked in the winter of 2020, then who would it be? If not us, then who? So then for the last 7 months, it's been all systems go. So every ounce of ability and agility and innovation, taking all the same steps and checks that we'd normally take, but often in new ways, in parallel. So for example, we started manufacturing the scale up well before we knew whether the vaccines worked. We've been producing quantities in manufacturing sites for over a month now, to ensure we've got as many doses as possible, available, before the holidays. So we're where we are now. It looks pretty good. I've had many proud moments working for Pfizer. I think this one has got to be many, and this has got to be the proudest. It's been absolutely about vision, determination, anticipating barriers, solving for them before they become a problem. You know, whether that's in clinical trial design or recruitment of patients or manufacturing, you know, cold supply chain, using technology there, and the list goes on. So I won't compare, you know, the endeavour in developing a vaccine for, you know, this deadly virus around the world to the collaboration we have with Sidekick, but definitely some of the same mindsets, you know, that contributed to that is contributing to the success of this partnership, you know, in terms of anticipating problems as they, you know, before they come up, having a shared, you know, vision. And, you know, we've seen those, and, you know, absolutely those kind of same, you know, mindset with our partners in Sidekick as well. And I think that's what's really led to the successful collaboration that we've had.
Fantastic. I agree. I think, you know, across Pfizer, we've been so impressed by the level of innovation and sophistication that Pfizer has throughout. And so definitely being able to take those same lessons and apply them other areas is something that Pfizer does extremely well. It's at their core. And with that, speaking of that, I think that's a fantastic segue into that first section, beginning a partnership. How do you, before a partnership even begins and you're looking at it, how are you setting yourself up for success? What is that impetus to really start? And Jürgen, I'm going to start with you here. Speaking from Pfizer's perspective, what was your incentive internally to find a partner, and what were you looking for? And, you know, we talked about the pillars that we mentioned during your prep. I think now's a good time to be able to mention those as well.
Yeah, I think from a technology perspective, we see for some time now really an accelerated progress in health-related technologies. We see this, and we have talked about this earlier: AI, wearables, EHR, system integration, telemedicine. It's really growing with almost light speed. And what we see as well is, of course, that the user behavior is changing. So it's a significant increased acceptance from patients, all kind of users. If I take an example with my family, my kids with 8, they are playing with technology. My parents close to 80 are doing the same already. And it's unbelievable. And I think this leads also to a whole new, market in innovation potential, really coming from technology players that are entering the healthcare environment. And we strongly believe that partnering with those innovative companies will really help us to accelerate, also to fulfill our goals. And to be honest, I think we live in a very complex environment, and the only way to succeed is really creating this kind of ecosystem with partners that then help us jointly to define the vision, to work together in partnership, and then hopefully with a joint vision shape the digital health for the future. And exactly this is what we are looking for partners, looking for ideas, new innovation, really to help to shape this ecosystem.
That makes a lot of sense. It's really important to be able to have that beginning knowledge to see where the market is going and understanding those user behavior changes. And Rob, you had some really fantastic notes about the business side from the larger corporate side. Can you speak on that, please?
Yeah, and maybe before we get into the details of that, I think, you know, one of the things that is so important to have is, you know, you've got to be completely clear in your mind, you know, what you want from a partnership right from the start. You know, this is not this is not about doing something interesting or working with some people that you like, you know, or you know, startup tourism. This is about, you know, having a, you know, very clear objective about what you want to achieve, and knowing that you can't achieve it yourself, and, you know, going out and finding somebody that can really help you to achieve it who's got a shared agenda. So, you know, for us, I think it was pretty clear. It goes back to the breakthroughs that I was talking about before, you know, bringing breakthroughs to patients to improve their lives. And what that means is, you measurably improving lives means improving patient outcomes. Most physicians, I think, and the public think about our role in a couple of ways. One of which is, absolutely focused on outcomes, which is, the investment in science and medical discovery to bring new medicines to the market to people who can benefit from them. And that is the role of our kind of scientific organization. And then there's the commercial role, which we also play. And that role is ensuring that we can communicate that data to healthcare professionals so that they know when to use the medicine in the most appropriate way. And the way that we do that in the commercial side of the organization is by hiring and training professional scientific sales teams that communicate that data to doctors at a time that's convenient for them, in a hospital for environment or in their office. And that's still incredibly important. That's never not going to be an important thing for us to do. But there are also ways that physicians can get that data, which isn't through that route. These days, through access to internet or other means. And doctors are increasingly busy with aging populations, more patients, more administration. They're increasingly time poor. And physicians are looking for other things from us, as well as sharing the data that we've generated. And the thing that, one of the things that doctors are really looking for is not just providing a medicine, but also helping the patient to make better health choices so they can improve their outcomes. We started working with Sidekick in a field which is ulcerative colitis, and this is a terrible disease. You lose, in a flare, you can lose control of your bowels. You can be in the toilet 20-30 times in a day. You're experiencing significant pain. You're certainly losing independence. It has impact on your mental health as well, and your confidence, and your ability to lead a normal life. All of that can be affected by medicine, but it can also be affected by health choices that you can make. And doctors feel, it's quite difficult for them to do that with one interaction between the nurse and the patient every 3 months. We knew a lot about that. We'd done a lot of research in that area. We understood where the unmet needs were. But the question for us was, can we deliver positive behavioral change alongside our medicine? Can we improve the outcomes? And through that, give greater confidence in our package of support, the medicines and the solutions when physicians use our medicines. And if that could give them greater confidence, that could become part of our new operating model, where we as a company could be seen less of a supplier and more of a partner in better health and healthcare, which for us is massive. So back to the point, the incentive for going outside to find a partner was, we know we didn't have that expertise in behavioral science, moving patients' behaviors, and that was information or expertise we didn't have. And so we went out to see where we could find it, and who had a company that had a shared agenda, could act fast. And I think in fact in Sidekick we found that unique combination.
And that's a great segue, Otley. For you, is from your perspective, and I think this is very valuable to all of the startups and potential startups in the room, is when you're talking about that, how did you set yourself up for success to receive this pilot? What was key for your company that helped you stand out from the competition? And if you want to give a brief intro to who Sidekick is and what you do, I think this is a good time for it.
Sure. Maybe just for 30 seconds first, I'd like to come back to a couple of the points that both Rob and Jürgen were mentioning. Kind of in the getting to know each other phase, I think it was pivotal for us to really feel and understand and see that, we have a partner in Pfizer that has a real interest in impacting outcomes. that is kind of almost everything, but there's another operational part to it, which is this commitment to problem solving, finding ways, iterating, making a partnership work, seeking inspiration from each other, even enjoying each other's companies. It sounds a little bit like a marriage, but it's because it is. It's what we're getting ourselves into. A little bit about Sidekick, just to set the stage. I mean, we are at heart a clinical outcome-driven organization. We're founded by medical doctors. We develop evidence-based, clinically validated treatments, and we just happen to deliver them digitally. We focus, as Rob and Jürgen were mentioning, on helping people improve their health behaviors, but we do this across multiple different therapeutic areas and always in a highly disease-specific context. So we're always addressing very differing and constantly, in a way, evolving needs and challenges that people are dealing with. It's a very dynamic context that we jointly work in with Pfizer. And kind of just on this topic of health and good health, I mean, medical care is important. The medications that kind of are in play in, for example, our partnership with Pfizer are fantastic, life-saving. Health behaviors are at least equally important. What we eat, how we exercise and stay fit, our mental health, our stress, our sleep, understanding your treatment, all of these different things, they play a massive, massive part as well. And kind of just to quantify the issue, only about 10 to 20% of people actually manage to do what their doctor tells them to do, which is all of these things. But there's a lot more to this. There's anxiety, depression, loss of confidence, there's shame, there's social determinants that are at play. There's a lot of different things that impact this ability to, do what we all know is good for us. And this is kind of where we work. We work to empower people, encourage effective self-management, treatment adherence, what we call to expand therapy. And this is why kind of the complementarity with Pfizer, not just in kind of the kind of therapies that we're providing, but in a lot of the different assets that we bring to the table, why this is so synergistic. And I think then specific to your question on how did we set ourselves up, I mean, kind of in the early stages, this was very much about understanding in a very specific context, again, in ulcerative colitis, how can we be relevant, how can we be on time, and how can we be always engaging? Because we know people don't want to be spoken to as patients. We know that people are dealing with low health literacy, low numeracy, in general, low motivation for change. So there's a lot of things that we have to address to really facilitate and help people to improve their health behaviors.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's so valuable to get your insights from that, from that different kind of perspective. And with that, let's go to the second section, which is when you're doing the pilot and you're in the middle of that pilot, making sure that the pilot itself is going to be successful. And Rob, I'm going to come to you with this one. How are you tracking success? How are you choosing which KPIs are the priority here?
Yeah. So I mean, we knew that it was very important for us to generate data, that this was a success. Jürgen and I are passionate about this, and Appy is equally passionate, but not everybody in the world is passionate about this. And so if we're going to be successful in demonstrating success sufficiently to scale it beyond the part of the world that I'm responsible for, then we're going to need to be clear on what we're trying to achieve and how we're going to track it. So so what we did is we did something quite unusual. We took an approach like a clinical trial. So we launched our pilot in two countries, and we split those countries into two different groups. And we looked at the existing operating model that we have, which I explained before. And then in the other part of the country, we introduced a new role, patient outcome partner, who's responsible for implementing solutions with customers alongside, you know, the sales representative, the normal kind of marketing activity. We wanted to see whether, you know, in one part of the country, you know, without, you know, the patient solutions, you know, whether it was different from in the other part of the country with the patient solutions. So really, like a, you know, hard, not randomized, but it's certainly kind of a controlled look at what we were trying to achieve. And the three things that we wanted to look at there was, you know, pretty simple. One, is what we're doing really improving outcomes and experience for people? You know, does it improve our reputation amongst our customers? Is this actually what our customers want to see us do, or is it just what we think they want us to do? And then thirdly, you know, does it really help us to deliver our business goals? You know, is there an operating model improvement within this you know, activity? So that was really important for us. It's an old adage, in God we trust, in others, all others must bring data, right? You've probably heard that before. And so, you know, this is where we brought the data. And I think as a result of that, we've been able to scale pretty fast, and we're scaling now outside of the therapeutic area and outside of the part of the world that I control as a result of that.
I think one important aspect is really that we not just put some KPIs there and say, okay, let's think about how we measure at some point in time. I think we took a lot of time with the cross-functional teams, with medical, with the salespeople, with Sidekick, with really specialists in data analyzing to understand what is it that we really need to measure, how can we then relate really to outcomes, what are parameters that we need to have, and then all understanding what is this and what is the impact based on these parameters that make it a success really helps us very easily to really understand what is going well, what is not going well, to really try fast, fail fast, but also then adopt in an agile way, because we all understand what we are going for.
Yeah, and I'm conscious of what I said originally. It sounded a bit theoretical, didn't it? But practically what it means is, you know, on a weekly basis, you've got a dashboard. And so you're looking at all of the parameters that you have available to us, which kind of measure those things. And as things change, like, for example, if there's suddenly a global kind of pandemic and nobody can, you know, have face-to-face conversations with doctors anymore, you know, for example, then, you know, you're able to kind of look at the data, have a conversation with those people who are kind of implementing the programs at a local level. We run it as an agile scrum, and we're able to kind of change things in the moment. And I think that's why we've, you know, part of the reason why we've continued to be successful with this, you know, while the world has turned upside down.
Definitely things that set you up for success. And with that, let's go to that third section. After the pilot, how do you set yourself up to have success once it's over? And so I'm going to come to Otley for this one. How are you setting yourself up to have success and to expand the pilot once it's completed from the startup side?
Yeah, I think kind of it starts almost with the end or the beginning line in mind. It's like you can't just design the pilot. You have to design the scale up. You have to design the operating model, the target end state, whatever you want to call it. You have to design the ambition that you want to jointly achieve, and then you work backwards to define the pilot. You use it to get smarter, to develop hypotheses, to drive design and kind of improvements, figuring out what doesn't work and what works and how it can work better, all of these things. But it's really not a good thing just to design the pilot without designing kind of the scale up. But I think that's probably because it gives you a path. When you're hitting the targets, when you're doing well, or when you're problem solving, it gives you a path forward. And it's in no one's interest. It's not in the interest of patients, doctors, Pfizer, Sidekick, anyone, that we sort of limit the scope of. We should design with impact in mind. So I think kind of this thinking things through beyond the pilot, before you start the pilot, is probably the most important part of it.
Mhm.
Makes a lot of sense. Jürgen, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think especially when you are working in a big company like Pfizer, you have potentially started at a very early stage with doing some pilots of having a vision, but then seeing that if you don't think through for a longer term, that you fail. And I think most of the pharmaceutical companies have the experience with great ideas and then mobile apps with 10 users that only stay there for 6 or 12 months. And exactly this is what we also learned and that we are working on, to really have a roadmap in mind, looking at additional functionalities based on our experience, the user needs that we learn, but also the available technology, and really put this in a roadmap, like you develop a product, to really be able to enhance, learn, scale. And then I think when it comes to scaling, you have different directions where you can go then.
And I just briefly want to come also back to, because kind of this thing about objectives and understanding where kind of each partner in the partnership is coming from. I mean, many of the things that Rob and Jürgen talk about, I mean, focus on outcomes, enhancing reputation, and ultimately, I mean, for Pfizer and for Sidekick, it's also about delivering business goals. We impact many of these quite directly. But there's a lot of other things that are, I think, very operational in this context, which are also about measuring. It's kind of our ability to impact outcomes jointly. It depends on reach, activation, retention, engagement, all of these things. So it's also kind of the consumer angle to how well are we actually reaching patients and getting this into the hands of patients. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at and constantly tracking and monitoring.
And that's a fantastic way to end this. I mean, this has been an incredible conversation for how even in very tough times, you can still have an incredibly successful partnership. The two of you, Pfizer and Sidekick, are such fantastic models to be able to learn from and then implement. It's been just absolutely remarkable to learn from the three of you, fully from beginning the partnership to in the partnership to post partnership, how to be successful. So thank you to all three of you. And Jürgen, I know that you had some really fantastic closing remarks. So please take it from here.
Yeah, I think what is really exciting is that we are just in the beginning of the journey, really to see how digital technologies and partnership approaches can make a difference to healthcare. And if I say to healthcare, it's kind of something, but we also need to think about it's us, it's our kids, it's our loved ones, and it's really exciting to work in this space with in partnership with Sidekick, but also with others coming soon, and really to drive and shape the future of healthcare together.
Definitely, yeah. It's such a fantastic note to end it on. Is this affects us? These are our lives. So thank you so much to all three of you. This has been just a fantastic fireside panel. Thank you to all three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And with that, it's now time to get into the learning about these incredible companies, the companies that have been part of our Batch 11. And to MC it is our senior program manager, Ava. Ava, please take it from here.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. And thank you to the Pfizer team and to Sidekick Health for that really awesome panel discussion. Learned a lot there. So with that, hello, everybody. My name is Ava Ascari, and I am the Senior Program Manager here at Plug and Play Health in Silicon Valley. So I run the Accelerator program here. I'm excited to be our MC for today So we're going to get started now with the startup pitches. So these startup pitches always leave me energized, so I hope they do the same for you. We have our 15 digital health and health IT startups that were selected by our corporate partners about 3 months ago to join our fall batch 11 program. So they'll all be pitching to you today, as well as 3 additional healthcare startups from our international program, which we'll be showcasing at the end of this session. So a few things before we get started. These will be rapid fire 4-minute pitches, and towards the end of each of these pitches, we'll launch a short poll for you all. So if you like what you see and you want to get connected with the startup, click yes in that poll and we'll follow up with you after the event to connect you. So with that, let's get started. Up first, we have Heartbeat Health.
Good afternoon from New York. My name is Jeff Wessler. I'm a cardiologist and the CEO of Heartbeat Health. We're a virtual cardiology company, and for the next 4 minutes, I'll take you through how we manage cardiovascular disease with a digital-first model. To set the scene, let's start with a sobering statistic. Someone in the US dies from heart disease every 37 seconds. That's the leading cause of death for women, men, and nearly every racial and ethnic group in the US. It's a disease that spares few, killing well over 500,000 people each year, costing hundreds of billions of dollars in its wake. And here's the specific breakdown of where Heartbeat steps in. We manage patients with moderate and high-risk cardiovascular disease, focusing on the true clinical members of a population. Of these, 33% of them have moderate and high-risk heart disease. These patients cost an additional $2,500 per year. And then we have the 6% who are the acute or high utilizers. These are patients bouncing in and out of the hospital, and these patients cost about $30,000 per year. As a company, Heartbeat has 3 key differentiators. First, we're clinical first. We were built with actual clinical experience and from patients really from the ground up. Number 2, we're scale oriented. We've got a national network across the US. In fact, now we have the largest network of virtual cardiologists nationally. And finally, we're focused on ROI, achieving better outcomes at lower cost for the populations we serve. And we've memorialized some of these distinctions earlier this year when we won the contract to be the digital platform for the American College of Cardiology, or the ACC, and their 28,000 cardiologists across the US. Heartbeat started in 2017, and we've seen rapid growth over the last 6 months as we closed our Series A with Optum Ventures and 406 Ventures, launched our app, and now managed our 50,000th patient. And here's our sweet spot. Many digital health companies and interventions really focus on the wellness and coaching side of things. Heartbeat has taken on the higher risk category of real clinical management, which generates a much higher cost savings along with a significant reduction in disease burden. We've got 2 programs. The first is called 100 Days of Heartbeat, and this is for the high risk and post-hospitalization patients, those with heart failure, coronary disease, arrhythmias. The second is called Heartbeat 365, which is our ongoing care program. This for the moderate and high risk patients, those who are stabilized but with active cardiovascular disease. And this is how it works. We're a 2-sided app for patients and providers. We bundle remote patient monitoring, telemedicine, cardiac rehab, and an analytics engine that supervises all of the clinical data flowing through. The provider side looks like this, with virtual queues, panel management, panel group engagement, and diagnostic data tracking. And the patient side is simple, it's easy to use, tracks device and diagnostic data, interacts with care teams and family support systems, and provides for straightforward communication and telemedicine. Care transitions for Heartbeat happen seamlessly as patients begin a program of care, undergo an onboarding session, and are introduced to the process. And as a company, we're highly evidence-based and outcomes-driven. Shown here is a case study in which we focused on a post-hospitalization population of about 8,000 patients. Using our digital-first care process, we reduced emergency room visits and hospitalizations by 39%. This compared to the prior benchmark and national average of 8%, all by using the Heartbeat platform that brings virtual care for these high-risk patients. And I'll finish here. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to present what we're doing at Heartbeat. It's a pleasure to be introduced, and I look forward to hearing further.
Wonderful, thanks, Jeff. And up next, we have Second Nature.
Hey guys, I'm Chris. I'm the CEO of Second Nature. Second Nature is on a mission to help the world build healthy habits. We started life about 5 years ago. Me and my co-founder, we felt like the whole world was treating obesity and type 2 diabetes completely incorrectly. It doesn't need to be solved with a drug. We thought if you could only help people make healthy lifestyle changes, the whole problem could be solved. So we use technology to tackle this problem. It's one of the largest problems of our entire lifetime is lifestyle diseases. So 2 in 3 of us are going to die of a disease we could have prevented ourselves. 2/3, and we could have just prevented it ourselves. As we know, though, these diseases, like diabetes, they actually start well before the hospital. So in the UK, almost half of us are struggling to lose weight. Before we even get to diabetes, almost half are struggling to lose weight. And if you are struggling to lose weight, it is the challenge of a lifetime. People on average try about 100 fad diets in their lifetime. How insane is that? Over 100 diets. So what do we actually do? We're a habit change company. So we've studied habits for years. What we try and do is help you build new healthy habits. It's the only scientific way to actually change your lifestyle. If you can change the way that you do your life, how you cook your meals, how you exercise, how you deal with stress, you will not have this problem anymore. So that is the company that we built. We built a company that is based on the science of habit change. So what's our product? So the product is 3 components. We help people track their weight, exercise, sleep, and stress. We provide you with world-class accountability. So you have a full-time health coach, a dietitian, that helps guide you through all the changes you need to make. And then finally, we have a 12-week education program that identifies all the different areas of your life that you have to change. So the journey is, before you start, you go through Prepare, where you prepare yourself for the changes you're about to make. You then go through our core 12-week program, where you rapidly change all of your behaviors and habits. And then finally, you move on to the Sustain program, which is where you learn to maintain the habits that you've picked up for the long term. Don't just take my word for it. The results are incredibly effective. We are the #1 weight loss program in the world, bar none, based on our outcomes, which are peer reviewed. We've just published data in the Journal of Medical Internet Research, JAMA, which is the world's leading publication on internet research, where we showed sustained 12-month weight loss for 1,000 people, which has never been done before. This efficacy has then led us to be rolled out all throughout the NHS. So we've won contracts in the UK's NHS in diabetes prevention, diabetes management, weight management. We're live in 1/3 of all of the commissioning groups all across the country, and we're now part of the UK's Better Health campaign, which is a nationally run campaign to help people get more active and change their lifestyle. But as we know, scientific backing and medical grade solutions, they give you a right to play in this market, but this is a mass market problem. You have all these companies like Herbalife, Nutrisystems, Weight Watchers. Consumers are demanding better, and that's where we come in. We're targeting the 38% of people that are struggling to lose weight, and we're aiming to be the top consumer subscription company for this. You also just need to go read our reviews. Just go on Trustpilot. You'll see over 2,000 reviews of people saying how this has changed their lives. If you don't believe anything of what I've said, you just need to go read our reviews, and they're all genuine, I promise. So what's our ask? We're now looking to go beyond the consumer space. We're looking to partner with employers, insurers, and healthcare providers to increase the access of Second Nature all over the world. So let me know if you can help with that. Thanks so much.
Great. And up next, we have LuminDx.
Hi, I'm Susan Conover, co-founder and CEO of LuminDx. and I was diagnosed with melanoma when I was 22 by my primary care doctor. He wanted to refer me out to a dermatologist, but knew the wait would be 3 months, so he took action and biopsied my mole directly. I'm incredibly lucky because he was right. It was a melanoma, but in most cases like mine, skin conditions are misdiagnosed by non-specialists 50% of the time. Rashes in particular, like psoriasis and eczema, are misdiagnosed by primary care providers 65% of the time. The reason for this is skin is hard. It's also a massive challenge, as 2.3 billion people around the world have skin issues each year. And skin disease appears in 1 out of every 4 primary care visits. So PCPs don't have the luxury of referring out every patient they're unsure about. Right now, in most cases, they treat this patient and tell them to come back if the treatment doesn't work. At LuminDx, we're empowering every doctor around the world to quickly and accurately identify skin diseases using computer vision and AI. PCPs use our tool by analyzing a couple photos, answering some simple questions, and instantly getting highly accurate feedback on possible conditions. How we help these PCPs is by saving them about 3 minutes in a primary care visit, by simplifying the visual assessment process and allowing them to focus on the most relevant patient history, replicating how a dermatologist assesses skin conditions. So primary care physicians are about 50% accurate, and dermatologists are about 90% accurate, encountering about 200,000 patient cases over the course of their career. In the last month, we achieved 90% accuracy across a limited set of conditions. So far, we've secured about 150,000 images directly from doctors, including our most recent collection from one of the most prominent hospitals in New York City. We're on track to get 1 million images in the next 6 months and identify skin conditions better than experts. How we differentiate is 95% of players in our space focus on skin cancer because it's a relatable problem and there's data available. Trust me, as a survivor, I get it. But most skin diseases aren't skin cancer. We're focused on rashes and other conditions that are overlooked, but still very important to address, and often kept in primary care. These conditions cover about 70% of healthcare spend related to dermatology in the US. We're also helping save an estimated $300 for every patient correctly diagnosed, from reducing unnecessary primary care visits and treatments that don't work. And we're helping accelerate cases to a dermatologist who need them, so each patient can get the right care at the right time. In terms of business model opportunities, with a visual search product, we plan to help identify patients earlier for dermatology clinical trials. We also plan to support improving outcomes for patients by ensuring they get the right diagnosis and get on the right treatment much faster. As we build a large database and increase our AI accuracy, other business models open up, including getting a CPT code for us and physicians, similar to IDX, and tapping into opportunities around real-world evidence and outcomes. We have an amazing team. My co-founder Pranav has 10 years of experience in software R&D. Lauren ran clinical trials at MGH before getting her MBA. Rich is an expert at healthcare sales. Bridget is an expert in machine learning. And we also have amazing physicians, serial entrepreneurs, and machine learning experts to help us grow this business. Right now, dermatologists can see about 40 patients in a day. Our technology allows a dermatologist to impact 40,000 patients per day. We just closed a 2 million seed round this past summer, including Argon VC and Flare Capital, and are excited to further develop our technology, business model, and impact with partners like you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Susan. And up next, we have RxLive.
Hi, my name is Mark Engelin, and I'm the CEO of RxLive. Here at RxLive, we think that pharmacists are some of the most underutilized resources in healthcare, especially in a value-driven world. We think that pharmacists solve many of the fundamental clinical as well as operational challenges in healthcare today, most notably around medication mismanagement. And when pharmacists are clinically as well as operationally integrated into team-based models, we've seen reductions in not only meaningful clinical outcomes, but also important financial metrics as well. So at RxLive, we are a technology platform and nationwide marketplace of part-time clinical pharmacists, and we work directly with physician groups, employers, and other healthcare organizations. And the way that the model works is that patients are introduced by their provider to an RxLive pharmacist, who then spends about 30 minutes counseling that patient over video or over the phone. This model is actually reimbursed by Medicare, as well as other Medicare Advantage and commercial insurance plans. And from a business model perspective, we pay our pharmacists per piece. But we're much more than just a tech-enabled service. We've built a completely proprietary clinical documentation and electronic health record platform for this type of pharmacy work from scratch. And in it, we collect and then de-identify all of that clinical, behavioral, and genomic data, as well as structured and unstructured data from the audio and the video feeds. We then use machine learning and other algorithms to predict pharmacy interventions. We customize and automate the provider and patient communication. We've integrated telehealth, and we're leveraging our human cloud of pharmacists to essentially help develop and refine these protocols in real time. Now, the market for this type of in-depth pharmacy involvement in value-based pharmacy and team-based care models is huge. We believe it's about $5 billion, growing to about $10 billion over the next 5 to 6 years. While most of the competitors are taking a very top-down payer-focused strategy, we think there's huge opportunity to work from the bottom up, working with risk-bearing physician entities to really address value-based care in a different way. So from a progress perspective, we've essentially 10x the business over the past year, and then expect to double, triple, and then even quadruple over the next 3 to 4 quarters. And we've got logos implementing starting next year, including Hackensack Meridian, Catholic Health Initiatives, Aledade, Upward Health, as well as partnerships with Pacific Source and Adagio and other really leaders in the value-based healthcare space. And the reason is because we curate an amazing stakeholder experience for all of the key stakeholders in healthcare, whether it's payer, patient, or physician, where our model is delivering about a 4 to 5x ROI for our physician partners. And in our very first employer-based models, we've driven over a 20x ROI in that first pilot. We've also generated an amazing patient experience in which the majority of our patients save money on their medications. We're reducing the number of drugs that they take, as well as obviously simplifying and reducing the number of adverse events that that patient faces. From a founding team perspective, I'm the CEO, but I launched the business with my spouse, who's a clinical pharmacist. And we've built up a great network of both investors and advisors that span some of the major healthcare logos you see at the bottom. We've raised about $1.7 to $1.8 million to date, and are really looking to take the next step and raise about a $2 million price seed round. So in summary, we think that RxLive is a really novel and unique combination of services, technology, and data that's poised to address one of the biggest challenges in healthcare, which is medication mismanagement, in a very interesting and unique way, but also a very patient-centered way. And specifically, we think that RxLive presents a very patient-centered way to think strategically about the new role of pharmacists in value-based care, and really expand out how pharmacists are used as an extension of this team-based model. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark, and the RxLive team. Up next, we have one of our mental health companies, Kintsugi.
Good morning. I'm Grace Chang, founder, CEO, and principal software engineer for Kintsugi. Kintsugi is developing smarter mental health care by creating voice biomarker technology to measure and predict well-being. I'm joined with my co-founder and machine learning scientist, Rima Silova-Olsen. We are recent recipients of multiple National Science Foundation SBIR grants for developing novel AI technology, and in our latest technical breakthrough, we're now able to score clinical depression and anxiety on the standard PHQ-9 and GAD-7 tests from 1 to 2 minutes of speaking. Let me demonstrate.
This is a demo of the Kintsugi voice biomarker diagnostic within the Kintsugi app. Let's create a journal entry. I am grateful that I live in nature and had a chance to run up to Claremont Ridge and back today. let's give this entry a title. And as we go back into the voice analysis, we see that this analysis returns a low depression and anxiety score on the industry standard PHQ-9 and GAD-7. We also score on a sub-question level from 0 to 3. Let's try another entry, but in a different language. 我的名字是张清颖，对不起，我的中文不是很好。And as we go back into this voice analysis, we see that the scores are the same. Our voice biomarker diagnostic is language agnostic and runs in real time.
Formerly, I was the head of product and second engineering hire for a Bay Area machine learning startup that extracted feature vectors from wearables and mobile devices for authentication. We could uniquely identify people based on how they move. We won TechCrunch Disrupt in 2016, South by Southwest, and RSA Innovation Sandbox, a global security conference. We raised a $20 million Series A from NEA with 5 employees in the company, and I was excited to then apply signal processing from one domain in security to a different type of signal processing in a domain much more personally meaningful in healthcare. In the earliest part of my career, I led strategy, analytics, and risk across Fortune 50 companies, and later post-MBA, founded and sold several enterprise and consumer tech companies. I met Rima at an OpenAI hackathon a year and a half ago, and in addition to our similar immigrant path to the US, we shared a similar challenge in accessing mental health care through our health plan. We often waited months before being seen and were overwhelmed with apps in the market, not really satisfying this core need to feel heard. We initially set out to create a voice journaling app to serve our own day-to-day challenges, and soon our app grew from ourselves to over 80,000 users in over 250 international cities. Today, we now have the largest annotated longitudinal voice repository for machine learning, which has led to our recent breakthrough, an API endpoint that is platform agnostic. Our technology is US patent pending and pending FDA breakthrough designation and de novo review. We are in first phase production deployments at United Healthcare for call centers, telehealth platforms, and remote patient monitoring applications. We provide real-time screening to segment risk and triage accordingly. We are evolving our consumer offering to a remote patient monitoring tool and growing our metadata labels to include heart rate variability, which can measure both sleep and outdoor activity, nutrition, and environmental factors for machine learning efforts to predict mental health outcomes. Most of the competitors in the market are still in the data collection phase. We are the only deployed API working in real-world conditions, language agnostic, and score on a sub-question level. We are not just marketing fluff. An opportunity with your organization will provide a unique collaboration to improve people's lives wherever and whenever needed, especially in these times. Thank you, and we are happy to take questions.
Thank you to Grace and Rima. So up next, we have another mental health company called Keep Appy.
We all know how to take control of our physical health, whether it's reducing our sugar and salt intake or going out for one of those many walks or runs during the current pandemic. But what about our mental health? How do we take control of the struggles during a deadline or waking up on the wrong side of the bed? Because the reality is that low mood affects 100% of us at different points. Yet 74% of people across the globe struggle to control their mental health on a daily basis. And this problem is incredibly expensive, costing businesses in the US alone $2.2 trillion in worker and wellness each year. The most common solution that people look to is simply to do nothing. The stigma has resulted in a world where burnout and low mood persists across the population with limited engagement. Meditation apps that are currently dominating the well-being marketplace are led by industry giants like Calm and Headspace. However, they do not offer data-driven methods for people to understand their well-being or to have a personalized experience. My name is Amy Louise Carton, and along with my co-founders and our phenomenal mentors, we have created a comprehensive solution that equips people with the tools that they need to manage and maintain the daily ups and downs of life. and that solution is Keep Appy, the gym for your mental health. It has 10 psychologist-approved features, including journaling, gratitude, and goal setting. And at its core, Keep Appy tracks the 8 vitals that most impact your daily well-being. We then push you personalized content and prompts based on your historically lowest performing vital, raising awareness on what is most negatively impacting your mood, helping you to help yourself. We have also started the process of integrating an EAP software solution that simply enables corporates to join the Keep Appy movement. Our mechanism focuses on providing corporates with aggregated and anonymized insights into employee well-being trends in order to improve output of workplace wellness solutions, creating a targeted and data-driven approach to employee well-being. Just like our competitors, Keep Appy charges users with a subscription model. However, unlike our competitors, we are dedicated to being more and doing better, which is why we are a for-profit social enterprise. Because of this, we have implemented a one-for-one business model, and we are working with organizations across 3 continents to enhance that. The last 10 months have truly been extraordinary since the launch of our beta. We have reached over 100 countries, achieved a 28% retention rate after 3 months for our premium customers, and have started to launch pilots for our B2B2C EAP. And our extraordinary 30-day retention rates, which are currently outperforming industry leaders, are there as a result for 3 reasons. Mostly because we know what consumers want. We know that the wellness generation are also the data generation, that they have grown up used to excellent design and beautiful UX. And more than anything, they just want a no-nonsense and practical approach to managing their mental health. We're also thrilled with all that we've accomplished over the past 12 months, whether it's raising our pre-seed to actually being selected as the only European startup to be recognized by the Silicon Valley-based Headstream Accelerator, which is powered by Melinda Gates and Pivotal Ventures. Additionally, we have been accredited by Orca. Keep Appy began with a simple mission: to answer the global question, how do you look after your mental health? And in just 12 months, people all over the world are using Keep Appy to answer that. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Amy Louise. And up next, we have a sepsis prevention solution called Luminare.
Hi, I'm Sarma Valamuri, the CEO founder of Luminare. I'm a recovering physician, and I started Luminare because my friend's daughter and many other of my patients died of severe sepsis in my hospital. After my friend's daughter died, I came home and took it as a personal failure, even though I was not her physician. I then mortgaged my house and started a software company, and I'd like to take you on a small journey with me. Luminare's mission is to stop death and morbidity through efficient software-driven workflow optimization and digitization of manual processes. The problem essentially is information in the health record is not seen, it's not understood, and therefore not acted upon. We make data easy. We use a proprietary AI-based data scrubber that parses data in real time. We call him Lenny or Leonardo, and provides information for us to be able to use to improve sepsis outcomes. Here's how we solve the problem. We visualize the information, we apply good information analytics, and we transform this into meaningful behavior. How we do it for sepsis is we have a web-based tool that can also work standalone that uses the hospital's sepsis protocol. This tool was showcased in the CDC's Stopping Sepsis Through Early Detection HIMSS 2020 showcase. We have a couple of product lines built on this platform. One is Sagitta, our hospital workflow product that I just told you about, and the next one is QuickScreen, our enterprise health maintenance system. Hear what our customers have to say for just a second.
Luminare is a very powerful software tool that allows the nursing staff to detect for early sepsis. Since the collaboration with Luminare, we have seen a 12% reduction in mortalities from 2018 to 2019. We've seen approximately a 27% reduction in our code blues from 2018 to 2019. The program has all but eliminated our need to send our patients out to an STAC for higher level of care.
Transition is a risky time for the patient, always a chance of breakdown. Since this implementation, we have not had to send one patient back to a short-term acute care hospital after having been in our facility.
The benefits are just wonderful. Highly recommend this to any healthcare facility to partner with Luminare if they want to see the same results and to have a real impact on the reduction of sepsis.
Like you've heard, we have tremendous clinical impact at bedside. QuickScreen, our syndromic surveillance tool used for COVID, is now deployed in numerous states and has over 30,000 daily users. We have completed 1 million assessments to date, and we have stopped numerous super spreader sites. We continue to see rapid adoption, and here's why we are different. We use robotic process automation in a behavioral context, and our robotic process automation system fits different disease conditions like I've just showed you for sepsis and for COVID. It also fits different industries. We've just decided to focus on healthcare for now. We digitally transform manual processes in a hospital and improve workflow. Here's some of our notable customers. The Cornerstone Healthcare Group, our partnership with Harris County Public Health is well known. Our work with the city of Corpus Christi and for their 300,000 residents, and most recently with the Children's Health System in Dallas. We have some key modules that are currently under development that will impact cancer research, stroke, and heart failure. Thank you for taking this time to listen to me, and I'll leave you with this ask. If you're a payer, a pharmacy company, or a provider, and you have issues with information visualization or changing behaviors within your system, whether it be with sepsis, stroke, heart failure, cancer, or any disease condition, we'd love to chat with you about how our platform could potentially help you. Thank you for your partnership, and we look forward to working with you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarma and the Luminare team. So up next, we have a company that's created a computational biomarkers for neurodegenerative diseases. So please welcome NQ Medical.
Hi, I'm Rich Pavasso, CEO of NQ Medical, and thank you for the opportunity to present our company today. We focus on neurodegenerative disease, primarily in the area of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, ALS, and et cetera. Our solution is part of an exclusive class of next generation digital medicine. We're not health entertainment. We're evidence-based, regulatory cleared, and focused on working with academic medical centers and industry. Our total available market is about 500 million people who suffer from these diseases, and all those sons and daughters who worry about having the disease as well. We have a 4-phase revenue model I'll share shortly. Our traction to date has been about $900,000 in revenue last year, our first year, full year of operation. We'll do about $5 million this year. We've had various funding rounds to date, and we're gearing up for a Series A in the first quarter of next year. The goal is to be the most significant and influential brain health company in the land. We bring to market a computational biomarker for neurodegenerative disease, and we deliver that through personal devices. There is no proprietary device. We also do not have a task-based app. This is 100% passive data collection. Thus, we enjoy 100% compliance and use of our tool because people just live their lives and don't worry about answering questions or performing tasks. Our data has revealed that we can detect the disease early, in some cases a decade early than traditional diagnostics. We generate real-world evidence, which enables us to track disease progression over time remotely. And because we can track disease progression, we can measure the impact of therapy, whether that's drug, device, or other. The problem we're solving is that the current status quo is that the patient is required to go to a mood disorder specialist in an academic medical center and do some subjective testing once or twice a year. And significant decisions are made during that time. We deliver the opportunity to, between these visits, show some visibility and granularity as to what's happening with the patient. And this is actually from one of our trials. And in this particular case, this patient was getting worse, and the clinician really had no idea. This is a result of 7 years worth of clinical trials, 5 peer-reviewed papers. So we've been through the gauntlet of peer review. We have 3 or more papers in development. We were granted breakthrough status by the FDA last November. We expect clearance this year for Parkinson's disease. We've filed de novo. We expect to be use ourselves as the wrong predicate for the subsequent diseases. This is what a device signature looks like. You can see clearly that healthy and even an early stage patient, that's a de novo patient, newly diagnosed, there's a delta between these type of signatures. And the really important thing about this slide is the same patient we would track over time as they went from mild to severe. We do a brain health score every 90 seconds. So the level of granularity that we can achieve between mild and severe is far greater than any human expert can possibly do that. We've expanded from Parkinson's disease into other therapeutic areas. I'm going to share with you a moment some of our Alzheimer's cognition data. We're also working in the area of concussion. We've been asked to look at chemo brain, COVID brain, arthritis, stroke. So the number of diseases available that address this brain-finger connection is large. We have successfully separated diseases, so we have unique signatures now for these various diseases. Our business model is quite simple. Right now, we're earning revenues supporting clinical trials by helping recruit patients remotely into the trial, tracking the progression during the trial, and showing the impact of therapy. Our ability to show separation between the responders and non-responders to compounds is almost 8x what the gold standard is. As we move from clinical trials post their FDA clearance, we have already agreements in place for supporting a companion diagnostic, companion therapeutic, or drug plus app. And we now have a project working with payers, which has been accelerated by COVID, working with the VA system to use our tool to support the 1.8 million folks that suffer from Parkinson's in that model. We're also building a huge database so that we can sell this unique database back to pharma for drug discovery. Our intellectual property is robust. We're actually now in the middle of looking at expanding this in Japan, because we have 5 customers that are pulling us into Japan. So we'll have operations in Japan sometime next year, along with revenues. And this is our team. Our team is made up of primarily doctors and data scientists. We have some regulatory support, and we have a great board of medical device advisors, expanding industry, new technology companies like Amazon, and clinicians. So our focus is, we live in this space now between technology companies and life science companies all merging to compete in the healthcare space, but we see ourselves in the middle. I mean, this is primarily my exit slide here. So we work with all the companies on this page, and we think that any one of them can be part of our exit. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. And up next, we have a startup that can measure vital signs with a 30-second video selfie from your mobile device. So up next, we have Nuralogix.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Cipozzoli, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Nuralogix. We are an effective AI company, which is the intersection between effective computing and artificial intelligence. Let me begin by asking this question. What if you could check your health using nothing but your smartphone in just 30 seconds? Our answer to that question is you could check your health in 30 seconds if you had a Nura on your phone. A Nura provides you with a plethora of general health and wellness information in just 30 seconds. Nura is the world's first app to allow for blood pressure measurement using just a selfie video from your smartphone. In addition to blood pressure, Nura provides medical grade accuracy for heart rate, breathing, heart rate variability, cardiac workload, mental stress, body mass index, and cardiovascular disease risks. All of this is then distilled into an overall general wellness score. The current version of Nura increases the user's awareness of stress, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease risks. In addition to that, we are working on new features for future releases, which include blood biomarkers such as A1C, cholesterol, and hemoglobin, mental health indices for anxiety and depression, physical indices like body shape index and waist to height ratio, which will help us to estimate your risk of type 2 diabetes. We have also developed a COVID-19 model in collaboration with St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, the University of Toronto, and Zhengda Hospital in China. The model will give you a probability of being infected with COVID-19 based on your current symptoms. In addition to Nura, the mobile app, we have developed a Nura Heart Magic Mirror, which we're calling the world's first health appliance. In addition to all the Nura measurements, it will allow you to measure blood, body temperature, plus blood oxygen saturation, and much more. It will act as a home health appliance, a telemedicine portal, a health check station, and much, much more. So how does it all work? Facial blood flow data is extracted from a selfie video by the client app. running on a smartphone, tablet, or laptop, using our patented technique called transdermal optical imaging, or TOI. The blood flow data, or TOI signal as we call it, is sent to our cloud-based effective AI engine called DeepFX, which then applies advanced AI models to predict and measure selected physiological and psychological states, what we call points. Results are returned to the client app for display. This is the basis for our SaaS-based revenue model, where the client pays on a per measurement, per user basis based on the number of users and number of measurements. The general market sector we play in is digital health, a market which was $106 billion in 2019 and is projected to grow to $639 billion by 2026. We are currently engaged with 50 plus customers at various stages of evaluation, POCs, and integration of our technology across multiple verticals. These customers range from startups to Fortune 500 companies. We have just started generating recurring revenues and have a rapidly growing sales funnel across multiple verticals. Some specific use cases for healthcare are telemedicine, where our technology is being used to create mobile/home telemedicine platforms with the ability to measure key health parameters such as blood pressure using just the video camera. Corporate wellness, where our technology is being used to monitor the health and wellness of employees for the benefit of improving employee health and productivity and lower healthcare costs for employers. We have a growing patent portfolio with 8 patents currently granted and 6 more pending, the crown jewel being the blood pressure patent for now. We have done multiple rounds of financing since inception, having raised a total of $20 million Canadian. There are no institutional investors in the company. The CEO and co-founder, i.e. me, is the lead investor, having contributed $10 million to date. So you might say I have some serious skin in the game. We plan on doing a Series B in 2021. We're looking for the right partners to help us grow and achieve our goal of helping to improve the lives of people everywhere. We have an experienced management team and with proven track records and strong financial and reputational commitments to the success of the company. It's not our first rodeo, and it's more than just about the money. Thank you.
Wonderful, and thank you, Nuralogix. So up next, we have RxDiet, which is a prescribable medical nutrition therapy.
Everyone, my name is Roman Kalista. I'm a medical doctor and I'm a founder of RxDiet. We use artificial intelligence to deliver personalized dietary therapy to chronically ill patients. 60% of US adults suffer from one or more chronic conditions, and currently only 0.6% of these patients receive dietary therapy. This is a missed opportunity that is costing our healthcare system around $700 billion every year. Dietary therapy is cited as the #1 step in management and treatment guidelines for the most prevalent chronic conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, obesity, chronic kidney disease, and many others due to its favorable risk profile and high efficacy. There's clinical evidence that we can reverse or stop the progression of type 2 diabetes, hypertension, chronic kidney disease, and heart failure with the right dietary treatment. Today, we rely on patient education. The system has alarmingly low reach and adherence, therefore minimal effect. Research shows that the most significant factors affecting our patients' dietary adherence are education, planning, shopping, and high cost. That's why we've developed a fully automated AI system that can reach entire cohorts of patients. The system can design patients' personalized treatment diet and order necessary grocery products from their local store, optimized for low cost and zero food waste. This way, patients can overcome the most significant barriers to dietary therapy: education, planning, shopping, and high cost. With the system, we can support each patient directly or cooperate with patient's dietitian to design patient's dietary therapy with RxDiet system. The dietitians can adjust patients' macro and micronutrient values. They can design dietary approach or use existing clinical guidelines that are implemented in the solution. Dietitians can also add drug interactions to adjust further patient's diet. Patients then only order groceries through the application, and they receive all the grocery products to their door, and the recipes are displayed in their application. This is highly convenient for the patient, as they can only cook their required meals each week. They save time on planning their meals, they save money on the grocery products, and they can simply continue using the system week after week due to zero food waste. Our team has experience in medicine, software development, and artificial intelligence. We've previously worked in medical research and enterprise software development in the pharmaceutical industry. We're backed by experienced industry experts in artificial intelligence, venture capital, regulatory, and clinical affairs. Our technology is the only solution on the market that can extend the dietary treatment beyond advice and provide direct food delivery and convenient service to patients. Our technology presents significant barrier to entry in the form of our proprietary AI algorithm, proprietary food and recipe data format, and first mover advantage. Our goal is to enhance existing therapies with the dietary component and work with providers, health plans, and pharmaceutical companies to improve the efficacy of existing therapies. Currently, we're awaiting final approval for our pilot with DaVita Kidney Care in September, and we are in late stages of pilot negotiations with several health plans in New York City. Thank you for your attention.
So up next, we have a startup that focuses on supply chain and revenue management in the pharmaceutical industry. So please welcome Chronicled.
Hi, everyone. This is Suzanne Somerville. I'm CEO here at Chronicled, and I'm super excited to share with you the exciting work we're doing to enable the future of how companies can do business together using blockchain-enabled solutions. Think about it. Companies spend a lot of energy and effort improving and driving efficiency within their own four walls. What if we could enable efficiency gain on the processes between companies, where we believe there's a tremendous amount of value locked today? Processes like, was the rebate accurate? Is this product authentic? Or are these raw materials coming from the right supplier? We're incredibly excited to share with you the solutions that are in production today that we've been able to build. But to start, let me explain. MetaLedger project was kicked off in 2017 to bring together industry-leading companies in life sciences to help understand those business processes between parties and ensure that we could build industry-level protocols that everyone can participate in and benefiting everyone involved. Our first solution is already in production to help meet part of the Drug Supply Chain Security Act. For those not familiar, drugs today that are returned to a wholesaler will need to be verified before they can be resold. It represents 2% of all drugs sold in the United States. We've enabled a decentralized solution that allows manufacturers to control and manage all information about their products, submit it to the blockchain. Wholesalers can then upload, if you can imagine, a full industry phone book by those products and scan a barcode in their warehouse and get an answer back in less than a second from the manufacturer's database that the product is authentic. We are incredibly excited that with participation from major wholesalers and manufacturers, that greater than 95% of all drugs resold in this country will be verified using the MetaLedger network. Our second solution is also now available for production. The contract and chargeback solution.
Wonderful. Thank you, Suzanne. So up next, we have a startup that brings machine learning commercialization into reality, starting with the pharmaceutical space in drug development, resurrection, and disease definition. So please welcome Netramark.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Joseph Geraci, and I am the CEO of Netramark Corp. Netramark is a technology company currently focused on the health tech industry. Netramark emerged out of my direct experience as a medical scientist, machine learning specialist, and mathematician. And, while working in this space with pharmaceutical companies and with research facilities, I realized two critical things. One was that we needed to take advantage of many, many small data sets that are out there. There's a gold mine of transcriptomic data sets for whoever can take advantage of them. And the other thing is that we needed a system that was capable of providing insight into the models that it was building. And not only that, we needed an unsupervised method that was able to create hypotheses about the data so that we can create value that we can bring to pharma companies. Well, that's what we did. We built a company that was basically built around a technology that was amazing with small data sets, optimizing what you can learn from them, and also an explainable AI and deeply unsupervised so that it can actually teach you things you didn't know were there. And so what we did was essentially start to engage with companies that were having trouble with their data, and we grew with them. And this allowed us to actually sign on and focus on, in the health tech industry, in neurodegeneration, oncology, psychiatry, and aging. Huge markets where disruption is necessary. And we're right on the verge of that disruption. Actually, we just signed on a top 3 pharma company in the psychiatric space. And they're using our technology to understand their patient population. And the potential is huge. And so one of the big innovations that we made, it can be shown in this picture right here. You can see a typical machine learning clustering, really great job. And on the right, you can see the way the patient populations just pop out. Now ask me for a demo. I think it'll be worth your time just to see the way that our technology allows you to interact with these patient populations and extract meaningful insights and to find homes for drugs. And that's one of the big plays we're making, right? And we have this ability to actually resurrect failed drugs, billions of dollars of value there, and also to help with companies whose drugs are starting to come off patent. $17 billion just in this year coming off patent, looking for new homes. And we have the technology that finds those homes in a very unique way. We've been approached by companies in cybersecurity and IoT because of the unique way that a machine can do the unsupervised learning. And that's in our future, but right now we're focused on pharma. Now, let me tell you about a couple of cool things we did. So one of them is basically a year of diligence with Dr. Howard Fedoroff, who gave us dementia data set. And we actually used our technology to figure out a drug that could be repositioned for mild cognitive impairment. And we have nutraceuticals, and we're engaged and connected with Juvenescence, a great longevity company, and we're doing nutraceuticals for them. Another thing that came about, because of COVID, we were forced to be very creative, and we worked with a biotechnology company that crops, and our AI was able to, in an unsupervised way, was able to extract insights that surprised them, and they validated them. Ask me about it, I'd love to tell you, right? So, but our focus is in the healthcare space right now, and we're able to grow, and that's why we're raising right now. We're raising money because, like I told you, we're capturing these customers, and we need to build a sales team and a business development team. So our business model is simple. We have a SaaS product, a beautiful SaaS product for R&D acceleration that we charge, and we're building recurrent revenue and security. And the other side is we're building partnerships where we own part of the assets so that our investors can participate in the potential massive growth that can come from this. Joseph Geraci, Netramark, ready for growth. Please reach out to me. It would be great to show you a demo and to connect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joseph. So up next, we have a company that links their data to empower decision making. So please help me welcome BrightHive.
Hi, I'm Matt Gee, the CEO of BrightHive. We are a platform for cross-enterprise data collaboration. We help networks of organizations share their data at the speed of trust. You see, I started my career as a data scientist at the US Treasury during the credit crisis. Over and over, I found that the most valuable, essential, often market-making insights sat at the intersection of data that I had and data that someone else had. And the same was true for all of my data scientist peers, whether they were working in government, financial services, or healthcare. But when any of us tried to get 2 or more organizations, whether they were public or private, to combine their data, we'd run into myriad legal challenges, technical issues, and governance questions that got in the way of creating those new valuable insights. We created BrightHive to solve these fundamental problems of cross-enterprise data collaboration. At BrightHive, we think of ourselves as nerdy sandwich makers. Our platform helps you build the BLT sandwich of data sharing and governance across companies by simultaneously solving for the business alignment, legal framework, and technical integration issues necessary to make cross-enterprise data collaboration work. BrightHive does this through its industry-leading data trust management platform that unifies and automates the workflows of business, legal, and technical stakeholders at each organization sharing their data. Our platform is built on a standards-based, multi-party trusted knowledge graph that readily scales to arbitrary network complexity. And because data collaboration needs a human touch, we have white glove onboarding services that help reduce risks and accelerate time to value for your collaborative. Our current customers and partners include Fortune 500 companies, government agencies, and leading nonprofits and philanthropic organizations. And while there are numerous use cases for data trusts in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, I want to emphasize three. One, reducing consortium fatigue and accelerating time to value for existing pharma consortia through better data governance. Two, reducing enrollment time for new clinical trials through better community data sharing. And three, enhancing the discovery of new uses for existing patented molecules through better post-treatment effect data sharing. An example of this, earlier this year, our partners at the CrowdCare Foundation used our platform to create a data trust for multiple myeloma patients across the country so that they could pool their health records across providers in real time. This has led to over a 40% reduction in time to enrollment for myeloma studies that have engaged with that data trust. And when the COVID-19 crisis hit, those same partners were able to enroll over 1,000 myeloma patients in a study in under 2 weeks. These kinds of customer success stories are what have made us the leading data trust management platform on the market. We have strong year-over-year revenue growth. We raised a $2.5 million seed round at the beginning of last year and are planning on raising our Series A at the beginning of next year. So if you're interested in being part of that round, let's talk. As a reminder, we are the leading data trust management platform trusted by Fortune 500 companies and government agencies, and we'd love to explore your use case for data collaboration. So reach out and you can start building your BLT sandwich with BrightHive today.
BLT sandwiches, that makes me hungry. Great, thank you. So up next, we have a company that's focused on cancer screening, so detecting precancer and cancer cells in a single blood sample. So please help me welcome CellMax Life.
Hello, my name is Atul Sharan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CellMax Life. We're developing a blood test for the prevention of colorectal cancer by screening for precancerous lesions prior to those lesions turning into carcinoma. Colon cancer, or CRC as it's commonly known, is a remarkable story because it's widely acknowledged to be the most preventable cancer and yet least prevented. Astoundingly, it's the second largest cause of mortality amongst cancers in the US. In fact, young onset is a big problem, and the age for screening was recently lowered to 45 years. Over $14 billion is spent annually on treatment of colon cancer in the US alone, and about $4 billion is spent on unnecessary screening colonoscopies. Both of these expenditures can practically be eliminated while relegating CRC to the bottom of all cancer. So why this paradoxical and unfortunate situation? Well, colon cancer actually goes through a unique adenoma carcinoma sequence where it starts out as a precancerous benign polyp, clinically known as adenoma, that can take 10 and up to 15 years to actually developing to malignancy. It is one of the slowest growing tumor cancers, and not surprisingly, there is unanimity amongst all the key stakeholders that if you can detect polyps in a timely manner and remove them, and you can actually improve mortality, but most importantly, dramatically lower the incidence of cancer. Once polyps are detected, removal of these by colonoscopy is fairly risk-free and very effective and straightforward. While not intended for screening today, colonoscopy is the only option for preventive screening to detect these adenomas. So let's look at the state of affairs overall in colon cancer screening. The x-axis here shows the progression from very small polyps to large polyps and ultimately to cancer. The y-axis shows the sensitivity of a particular test or procedure for detecting each step of this progression. Today, left with no choice, the GI docs vastly prefer colonoscopy for screening because of its sensitivity for advanced adenomas. However, it is the single most expensive screening test an individual can take in the US by a wide margin. Further, it's invasive, suffers from low compliance, requires 24-hour bowel prep, etc., etc. So unfortunately, it's not the answer, which opens the door for stool tests. Exact Sciences Cologuard test is the most well-known test. It's a public company with a $15 billion market cap. The FDA-approved stool test is known as Cologuard, but unfortunately, it cannot detect adenomas. And as a stool test, it will also always suffer from compliance issues. So this leaves a yawning gap between what the biology demands and what the technology should be able to do, as we saw in the worsening CRC statistics earlier. And we pay for it in mortality, and the payers pay for it annually to the tune of 15 to 20 billion. Cancer that is completely preventable gets worse and worse. Not surprisingly, the investors recognize this, and they have invested heavily in the last few years in blood tests that can come close to Cologuard in CRC detection, with the goal that they will be adopted while stool tests are not. This is the problem that our test First Sight solves with our proprietary CMX circulating CM technology. Combined with NGS, we have developed a blood test where we have shown in clinical blind studies in both Taiwan and the US that we have high sensitivity, or the test has high sensitivity for adenomas and of course for CRC. As you can see on the panel on the right, the category of interest here, advanced adenoma plus CRC, our test has shown in blind studies in Taiwan and US that it's far more accurate than the current prevailing standard of care stool tests. And this also creates a huge market opportunity, because out of the 125 million eligible people, about 50 million remain unscreened because the stool test and screening colonoscopies are not convenient, effective, or expensive. So it is a $20 billion opportunity in the US alone, which explains why Exact's market cap with only 4% penetration is 15 billion. So not surprisingly, our First Sight test has received wide acclaim as being a breakthrough test for colorectal cancer screening, both at ASCO and DDW as being the only diagnostic that was selected for podium and lecture presentation. And current investors reflect the nature of the problem, which is global, which are US venture investors as well as the Taiwan government and biotech funds. And we actually have a strategic investor from Japan who's helped us develop the microfluidic chips for our platform. Thank you very much. And I'm available either by phone or by email.
Wonderful. Thank you, Atul, and to the CellMax Life team. So up next, we have Proxihealthcare. They're a non-contact dental care toothbrush.
Hello everyone, my name is Young Kim. I'm going to present our work, which is a new approach to dental care based upon electromagnetic wave technology. So market needs more sophisticated dental care because the increase of the dental patients, including the gum disease and implant and brace people. However, current method, which is electric toothbrush and dental RF electrostatic pulse vibration device, has a high stimulation and a strong force for the dental care. So it needs more soft and sophisticated method for these people. So we have our product. The name is Tromat. We have a really good story in South Korea. One lady has a severe tooth pain and she has been diagnosed to change her dental implant. However, after using our device a month, she does not have to do the revisional surgery and she really happy about our device. So how this is possible? Because our Proxihealthcare technology, which is researched over 12 years, and as you can see here, when our technology was applied, you can see dramatic decrease of the dental plaque. So it is start to sales in September, and as you can see here, our revenue is dramatically increased, and also the customer really likes our product. So we have prepared for the global market advances, and we already get registered US FDA, and we are going to work with a clinic and industry in the United States. So we are ongoing the current seed extension funding in South Korea, mostly for the marketing purpose. And our team, including my member, also we have expertise in IPO and a research collaborator from the University of Maryland, which is my former institute when I was graduate studies. So we are continuing building up our device for the sophisticated dental care. And if you would like to build up our business together, please feel free to contact me.
Wonderful, and thank you to the Proxihealthcare team. So I forgot to mention this, but Proxihealthcare and the next two startups are actually healthcare startups that are a part of our international program here at Plug and Play. So really excited to have them presenting, and please let us know in the polls if you'd like to connect with them afterwards. So before we get to these last two startups, I just wanted to give a really quick reminder that we'll be hosting a really fun networking opportunity on this new platform called Remo right after this event. So it's a great opportunity to meet the startups that you just saw today, both in health and in insurtech, and also network with our corporate partners, VCs, and mentors that took part in our fall programs this year. So you can find the registration link. We posted it in the chat box below. And also just stay tuned for a few more minutes. There's two more startups, and then we're going to get to announcing our Corporate Innovation Award winner. So up next, we have LittleOne, who's connecting parents and pediatricians.
Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm co-founder and CEO of LittleOne. LittleOne is a parenting platform that helps parents to understand more about their babies. Having a child is amazing, wonderful, and meaningful, but I'm going to start by stating the obvious. Parenting is hard. This is Susan and her newborn baby Ashley. She's a first-time mom, and like all novice parents, she has so many questions and experiences many challenges every day. But she said the most difficult and tiresome task is feeding. It's because whether you're formula feeding entirely or supplementing your breast milk, you need to carefully follow the directions because your baby's health depends on it. But with all the warming, we're using do's and don'ts, there's a lot to consider, remember, and monitor. We get it, and we're here to help. This is a solution. Smart Bottle automatically warms up the milk and keeps it at 98 Fahrenheit for 2 hours so you can feed your baby at the perfect temperature. It also keeps track and analyzes feeding activities and lets you know to prepare the bottle before your baby gets hungry. We started this project based on the survey on 200 first-time parents and teamed up with experts in hardware, software development, and of course, parenting. We protect our idea with 2 US and 4 Korean registered patents. Then we did crowdfunding, and nearly 2,500 backers backed our project, and we're now on Amazon. But we're not just a hardware startup. Our ultimate goal is to build an ecosystem that can provide individually tailored service to your baby's condition based on live logging data we collect from devices and apps. And mom needs to care a lot more than just feeding. We address 4 main concerns of baby care: feeding, changing diapers, monitor sleeping, and body temperature. By using our devices, parents can get access to healthcare reports, parenting consultation to ask questions to pediatrician on your baby's condition. There are 40 million babies under 5-year-old in North America alone, and we're aiming at $2.5 billion premium baby product market. We're asking $1.5 million for production of 300,000 units of Smart Bottle to shift our business model to B2B and build a baby health database that insurance and pharmaceutical companies want. We can help mothers like Susan take care of their little ones more safely and conveniently. This is LittleOne, your next level parenting assistant. My name is Brian, CEO of LittleOne. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So last but not least, we have our last company. It's an eye healthcare solution. So please welcome M2S.
Hello everyone, I'm Gray Kim.
I am the Planning Department Manager from M2S, Media Medical Solution. We are a famous studio for creating VR and AR content. We won awards in many competitions. Based on this ability, dedicated last 2 years in developing a solution that effectively leverages VR technologies for delivering the maximum benefit to the medical industry. End of last year, we developed an ophthalmological exam devices using VR technology and received about 500 million won in R&D fund from the TIPS program of government, and successfully attracted about 2 billion won of pre-Series A investment. Our medical and healthcare solution will provide early diagnosis of the eye disease and eye care solution to everyone and everywhere. I'm sure this solution will surprise the world. As you know, the eyes get worse because of increased using electronic device and air pollution and fine dust. As you get older, it worse too. But the world is rapidly becoming an aging society. For these reasons, eye diseases are increasing rapidly. Also, the eye has features that once it gets worse, it is difficult to recover. For these reasons, we lead to a growing medical and healthcare market which require early diagnosis and continued eye care. In particular, the digital healthcare market is expected to grow further in 2023, with estimate $20 billion in size. Targeting this market, M2S had the development of 2 solutions. The first one is medical solution and devices. We call it VROR, Virtual Reality Ophthalmology Room. These medical devices can be used in general hospital and local clinics. Existing exam devices are analog, but a VROR exam is fully digitized, including test result. Also reduce space and time, manpower, and cost of device. Another solution is personalized healthcare solution called Eye Doctor VR. The product released in 2 lineups, Eye Doctor Pro and Eye Doctor Lite. The Pro version is offered with eye tracking HMD and customized device with optimization for eye healthcare. This product was developed by targeting B2B and B2G market for using health centers, fitness centers, and health checkup centers. We are planning procurement distribution with the government. Also, the Lite version is offered with the VR application installed in the Spread VR HMD. It means this is a solution that can care your eye health using only the VR HMD. Lite version is easy to use at home and at school, and it is easy for everyone regardless of the age. It is going to be launched at the end of August with the largest telco in Korea and using the 5 network. So our customer will be anyone who needs the eye healthcare all over the world. M2S is a digital healthcare company to lead the global market. Medical device VROR has registered FDA first-class medical devices, and also progressing to get CE of the Europe and MFDS approval from South Korea. And it will be expanded to a medical device for brain neurology. It's currently under study with Korea University Hospital, supported from government grant amount 20 billion won. I hope M2S become a healthcare solution all over the world. What we create today will transform the healthcare of tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, and thank you so much. So thank you to all of the startups that presented today and that took part in our Batch 11 health program here in Silicon Valley. It's been such a pleasure to work with you all these last few months. And so with that, the final step, we'd like to bring back my colleague Zachary to announce our Corporate Innovation Award winner.
Hi, everybody. These startups have just been incredible. To be able to see the future of what healthcare looks like is incredibly bright. It's amazing to see the innovations that are happening from the startup side, but especially in healthcare, you can't have incredible outcomes without incredible large healthcare companies to work with them. And at Plug and Play, we have had the absolute pleasure to be able to work with an incredibly innovative company along the way. And this year, for this Winter Expo, we are so excited, proud, and humbled to be working with this company and to provide them the Corporate Innovation Award. And this year, the Corporate Innovation Award goes to our corporate partner, Pfizer. Jim?
Thank you so much. Get my video going here. Thanks so much, Zach. It's been a great partnership this past year. You know, we feel the level of interaction that your team has given us has totally exceeded our expectations, and we've been thoroughly impressed with the quality and the wide range of healthcare startups and entrepreneurs that you have across your network. Case in point, those we just heard from today. It's a fantastic mix. We've also found talented founders in parts of the world that we would not normally have a reach into without access to your global network. And finally, you've given us the ability to look beyond the healthcare sector, right? Scanning for new capabilities in fintech and insurtech, for instance, helps us to identify technologies that could solve problems with healthcare affordability in new ways, for instance. So thank you. It's an honor to win this and to be part of your extended family.
Thank you so much for those kind words, Jim. Ofer, Seema, anything that both of you want to say? Ofer, I think you wanted to go next.
Yeah, I want to say thank you again to Zach and the team. I think it's, I'll start my video. Okay. Say thank you to Zach and the team. You heard earlier from Jürgen and from Rob. The collaboration with you guys is great. The way you work and the reach that you guys have, especially the benefit that you've had over the last year. Anything from emerging markets to our European partners to North America, it's really been interesting and fascinating to work with you and get excited about companies that, to Jim's point, we wouldn't have had access to. And we see a lot of opportunity. And to what Jürgen and Rob were saying earlier, Pfizer really is trying to push the boundaries and trying to create breakthroughs for patients. And you guys are a big part of it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Fantastic words. And Jürgen, I can see you agreeing in the back. Seema, any words from you?
Yeah, thanks Plug and Play and community for this award. Plug and Play is really an ideal complementary partner for us in that they're fast-paced, they're dedicated to understanding our innovative goals, and it's with their help that our team can execute Pfizer's mission in creating breakthroughs that change patients' lives. So thank you.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much for the Pfizer team for all the work you're doing, as well as those kind words. And to close it out, Alva, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Zach. And thank you to the Pfizer team. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you all and to all of our corporate partners, startups, and mentors that took part in this program these last 3 months. So before we close out with some important announcements, you will see a poll pop up. Let us know what you think about our expo. We'd love your feedback. Aha, there it is. And while you're filling that out, a few last announcements. So our Batch 12 spring program in 2021 is coming up in just a few months. So we're going to have our selection day, February 25th. So for our corporate partners who are on the line, stay tuned for more details on that. And then we also have our summer summit, which will wrap up our spring program coming up in June of 2021. And those dates will be announced very soon. And last but not least, join us on Remo. So we have this incredible networking opportunity coming up right after this. So here's the link. We also posted the link in the chat box below. So this is a great opportunity to meet with some of the startups that you saw today, some of our corporate partners who are part of our program, and some of the mentors and VCs that we've been working really closely with over these last 3 months. So with that, thank you all again for tuning in. It was such a pleasure, and we will see you all soon.